Welcome, one and all, to the greatest Nintendo show of the day. I think I can achieve that. I don't know about in the country, in the world of forever, but I can achieve best of the day. So good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. We've got a lot to discuss all over, from Peach's face to Mario's voice to the Switch Micro to new patches and even more. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about all of this. I want to get you right into it. Let's lock and load. Seatbelts on. Peach's face is different. You haven't seen this yet. Peach's face has changed. She's tilting it down a bit. She's looking like this a little bit. I don't know what it's about. Some people have said that they're modifying Peach's face to look a little more like the movie Peach. I guess I see that, but it's strange. Her face changes in two places on the box art. We've got her going, ah, and now she's going, eh. And then her Karate Dojo Ninja Peach is, instead of going like, oh, she's going, ah. That's all we have to talk about, but they changed Peach. A rare move. Nintendo doesn't often change once it's already released. Like, they'll update renders for new games and stuff, but this was a little bit odd. What's even more odd, though, is possibly this Switch Micro patent. I don't know what else you would call this. Nintendo unleashed a patent today. It was made public after being published by them on November 11th of last year. Now, as I say with every patent, who knows what Nintendo's thinking with this? Oftentimes, patents that are released never actually come to fruition. They usually are just Nintendo researching and developing, but this one is too fascinating for me to gloss over. What we see here is a screen, a stick, 4 buttons, and then all this stuff on the bottom. It's very quite odd because, as we know from the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED, the Switch buttons are all on the top, right? Power buttons on the top, volumes on the top. So it's quite odd that we have some of the buttons on the bottom here. That implies that this was never going to go in a dock because, what the heck, it's on the bottom. So that makes me think that maybe this is a device like a Switch Lite that does not have the ability to dock, but then it looks like there's also video out, which is interesting. So this could be like a dockable, or at least a TV-able Nintendo Switch product. So it's like the in-between of a Switch Lite and a regular Switch. Maybe the Switch that we wish the Lite was. Because if the Lite was a portable Switch that had great form factor, but was also able to connect to the TV, that would be like your best $200 ever spent. And then the new bundles like Animal Crossing, getting a free game, I mean, it would just be like, heck yes. Yes, please. Now, some of you may be thinking this is potentially for next gen, for the Switch 2, for things in the future. I sure don't think so. This looks like a very simplified device, and again, like I said, because it's a patent that has been released, it's probably not being actualized, at least not in this form factor, and my guess is it was one of the options when they were considering alternate models of the Switch. You know, they did the Switch Lite, they did the Switch OLED, this was probably one of them. Maybe a Switch Micro, or perhaps just a Switch Lite that was able to connect to the TV. A Switch Micro would be very interesting. I don't think you'd ever go as small as the Game Boy Micro, because that thing was like, I don't know, I could put it in my mouth. Kind of felt like an airplane cookie. But this, I think it would have to be a bit bigger. Although it's interesting just because of the simplicity of the front, the buttons on the bottom. I don't know what they were trying to do, but I wanted to bring it to your attention just in case anything of this sort ever does come to fruition. And just to ask you, like, do you agree with me that if the Switch Lite did have video out functionality, that would be like probably the best Switch to buy in terms of like dollars to value? I think so. Mario. Where art thou, Mario? Not in the mouth of Charles Martinet and not in the mouth of Chris Pratt, at least not for the upcoming Mario Wonder and probably upcoming games in general. Mario does have a new voice actor, and it seems like one of the demo kiosks from Target has been data mined to uncover that indeed we do know the voice actor Mario. Are you ready? Now, poo-poo this all you want, but Mario has been Martinet since I was made. All right, since Mario first opened his mouth, Mario has been Charles Martinet. This is the first Mario Switch, I think, since he spoke, which is monumental. I mean, Chris Pratt aside, that's the movie, that's a different universe, that's a whole different thing. But gaming-wise, Mario is now someone new, so don't write this off. As small as it might actually be, like, in our enjoyment of the game, this is big gaming news, if only because Mario is, like, the biggest gaming thing. Probably nobody you've ever heard of. It looks like it's Mick Wingert. Now, Mick Wingert has been a voice actor in games before. He's done stuff like Fire Emblem Heroes, Genshin Impact. He's also played Iron Man and Tony Stark in some shows, and he played Poe Kung Fu Panda in a Kung Fu Panda show, so the guy, he gets my seal of approval. But it looks like Mick Wingert is playing both Mario and Luigi, and then it seems like Bowser and Bowser Jr. have been reprised by Kenny James and Katie Sagorian. Yoshi and Daisy have seemed to be recast. Doesn't seem like Rosalina's in the game, but more interesting and most important is that Mick Wingert must be our new Mario. From Charles Martinet to Mick Wingert. But like I've said before, I don't think Mick is going to get the tentpole pedestal treatment of Charles Martinet. I think Charles Martinet is actually still going to get most of the Mario treatment, as Nintendo has indicated he'll be an ambassador and going to events and things of that sort. I think Mick is going to be on the down low, just making the Mario sounds for some extra money. I don't think there's going to be any promotion for Mick Wingert, and as Nintendo indicated themselves, you'll have to wait and see the credits to find out who's voicing Mario. I don't think they'll make a big deal of it. In fact, I think there will be multiple Marios. I think Chris Pratt will be movie universe Mario, and I think this will be main game Mario, but there could be side game Mario if they want to pay somebody less or find a different voice so they don't need the same amount of work. There could be a theme park voice Mario. They really could just diversify and have Mario be a general idea that you sort of know what he sounds like, and that's what he sort of sounds like, and it doesn't have to be super nuanced. I think that's where they're headed with this, but maybe Mick will be Mario. He's only a few letters away from being Mario, but I don't think that he will share the spotlight as the past voice. I don't think there'll ever be someone in games as famous for their voice as Charles Martinet ever again. I just think the way the world works, the way things go, how many games are made, how often they're made, how many spin-offs, I just don't think it'll ever be the same, and I don't think anyone will ever be as much Mario as Martinet was, so if you miss him, well, at least there's that. This is fascinating. This to me is possibly the most impressive of everything we've talked about today, because the Switch is again dominating. It's the little engine that could, and now it's the humongous engine that cannot stop momentum. No matter how many times people make videos saying the Switch is dying, the Switch is on its way out, it refuses to stop. It just won't quit. And the Switch again is in the lead over in Japan. Famitsu reports that the Switch had more than 3 times the sales of the next closest competitor. Xbox and PlayStation 5 don't stand a chance. Switch coming in with over 110,000 units. And then even more impressive, Takashi Mochizuki from Bloomberg is reporting that, according to Famitsu, the Switch has sold more in fiscal year 2023 than the same period in fiscal year 2022. How do they do it? We're here in the 7th year of Switch, and somehow it continues to sell more. Now, it's not like having its best year, biggest year ever, but it continues to do well. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom was a big boost. And then some of it might just be due to Nintendo putting out great limited editions. I think their last few have been fantastic. The Splatoon one last year was great. The Zelda one this year was great. The Mario this year, not so great. It has a coin, and it's red just like that red one. But it's seeing a boost. The Mario model comes out, and we do see a significant boost. So it could be double dippers. It could be people just getting revitalized and excited about Nintendo Switch, getting it again for a family member or a significant other or a friend. Regardless, how can this keep happening? One thing I see being spoken about is that, oh my gosh, Nintendo will never release the Switch 2. The Switch 1 doesn't slow down. But that's not how they decide to do things, and I definitely do not think this bump in sales and this improvement from 23 over 22 is any indicator of if, when, where, what Nintendo will announce with Switch 2. They know they cannot wait till the Switch dies out to launch the next, otherwise they will be plagued by the same problems they faced in past transitions. Transition is super important to them, and this will inevitably end, and even if it doesn't, there's a world where they can still sell the $400 new Switch with that, kind of hypothetical, probably price point, and continue to sell the old Switch. So maybe the Switch doesn't even need to die off, it can just continue to go. But I can all but guarantee you, Nintendo is not waiting for this thing to hit 0 before they press go on the next thing. There's got to be overlap, there's got to be momentum, and you don't want to dip too far to then have to climb back up. You'd rather just kind of stay here. Get a boost from the Mario, get a bigger boost from the Switch 2, get boosts from games. Why not just keep the momentum going? Why not just keep the good gold coins flowing? I feel like that's what Furukawa wants. I feel like that's what Nintendo is seeking. And I think they're going to launch with a supreme position of strength, which only makes the Switch 2 launch bigger, better, more lucrative and attractive to third parties, developers, and of course consumers as well. So Switch somehow still rolling strong. Switch also not an indicator that there's not something new around the corner. But let me know what you think of all this in the comments down below. Are you excited about Mick becoming Mario? And what do you think about Peach's face change? How about this Switch sales bonanza that continues to blossom? And then what do you think of that weird patent? A Switch Micro? A Switch with a video out, but the button's on the bottom so it can't dock? What were they thinking? Let me know your take. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, everybody, SwitchForce out.